Joining us now is Michael Guillen, a scientist, journalist, and author. Michael, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We want to get right to your own experience. Share with us your story. You took a tour down to the Titanic in 2000, and something similar happened. Tell us about that.
Yes, I had been invited to become the first correspondent to report from the Titanic in 2000, September. And so even though I had a fear of water, I accepted it as part of my job. And so we left Nova Scotia in Halifax, where a lot of the people whose bodies were recovered are buried, as you know. And we went on station above the Titanic, positioned ourselves, and then dove down. It took us about 2.5 hours to get down. This is a Russian sub that I was in. And everything was going fine. We toured the bow. Then we went across the debris field and approached the stern area. You'll recall that when the Titanic sank, it broke into two pieces. The bow went straight down. The stern did a somersault and landed on its back with the propeller exposed. So my eye was on the propeller up ahead. I thought, wow, it's so shiny. It just stands out down there. Everything is otherwise shades of gray. And then I noticed that our submersible was going faster and faster. I thought, well, why are we going faster and faster? We should be slowing down. We're approaching this giant propeller, which was much bigger than our own submersible. And I later found out that we just had the bad luck of being caught up in a very strong underwater current. They do exist, believe it or not, down there, and smacked us right into the blades of the propeller. And I knew immediately from the collision and also from big, huge pieces of rusted metal coming down on us from the Titanic that we were in a life and death situation. It wasn't what I expected. It was completely unexpected.
I am speechless right now listening to you describe this. So what went through your mind, but then how long were you stuck and how did they get you out of there?
I didn't panic. I worried that others might panic. I had a diving buddy and a pilot. I had been told when we were being prepared for the dive that in the past, people who panic will go right to the hatch thinking they can escape from that. But of course, that just expedites their demise. So I was very conscious that I was going to gang tackle anybody who would even dare to look at the hatch. And then my scientific brain kicked in, and I'm a professional problem solver. I thought, okay, well, we have a real serious problem here. There has to be a solution. And as I ticked the various possibilities, I thought of how much oxygen we have left and so forth. I came to the realization very quickly that there was nothing we could do, that our only hope was our pilot, who was a former MiG pilot. So he was used to handling situations of life and death and operating with a cool head under pressure. And he was in constant communication. Unlike the missing ship, our pilot had constant communication through the hydrophone with the mothership, the research ship above us. And it was, in the end, the better part of an hour, which seemed like an eternity, when I noticed something happened. The vehicle quieted down. Up until then, the engine was really struggling. Our pilot was trying to jockey it out of the blades. And so when it went silent, I thought, well, either this is good news or bad news. It could be bad news that the engine just finally died and we're literally dead in the water, or it could indicate something else. We hadn't spoken to the pilot. We wanted to leave him alone. He was totally focused on trying to rescue us. But finally, I just couldn't resist. So I asked him a one-word question. And I looked at him and I said, okay. And then he turned to me and in this very thick Russian accent said, no problem. And of course, that was an understatement. And you would have thought that we'd won the lottery a million times over. I mean, I've never experienced such a sense of joy and relief. And wow, I mean, we were that close. I had already resigned myself to dying, thought of my wife, never seeing her again, thinking that my spirit would join the spirits of the people who died down there, just become one of them, lying down there at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. So it was an enormous sense of relief. And that's what I'm hoping will happen with these poor 5 souls that are in this, the Titan, the current missing submersible. But it's not looking good, I have to say.
So you were down there for about an hour and then resurfaced right away.
Right. That's the thing, right? It takes 2.5 hours to go down. Then we toured for about 3 hours, and then we were stuck for the better part of an hour. And then it took yet another 2.5 hours to get up there. And even when you get up there, the scuba divers have to come out. They have to hook you up to the crane that has to haul you on. I mean, it was a nail biter for more than 8 hours. It was about an 8 to 9 hour drama all told. Now, these poor people have been in there for days. So, I mean, I'm living their hell. It's taking me back, and it's not pleasant. But I'm doing these interviews to indicate to people just how serious this is. I don't see it as a tourist attraction. First of all, because it's dangerous. The North Atlantic is cold, the pressures are enormous. But it's also serious business because it's a graveyard. It's not just the wreck of a ship. People lost their lives down there. And that really, really came home to me, Heather, when we went down there. When we approached the bow, we told the pilot to stop. We had a moment of prayer for the people who lost their lives. So it's very emotional, and it's all coming back to me. So I really feel a kinship with these poor people. It's forcing me to just relive that terrible, terrible experience.
Michael, I can't imagine what is going through your mind as these days go on and we continue to cover this story. So we certainly appreciate you sharing your story. I do want to just ask you, though, if you ever really found out what exactly went wrong during your mission.
The ship operated beautifully. I mean, the ship that I was on, and this is a big difference, Heather. That's a good question, because the ship that I was on, a submersible, was a serious machine built for a serious purpose. It was built originally for scientific research and had been tested over time. So even though we had this collision, thank God, we didn't breach the hull. We could have, and then it would have been, game over right away. But the hull withstood the impact. Imagine that. And then we had the communication, although it didn't help us because the mothership couldn't do anything for us. In the end, it was really the skill of the pilot. I'm really grateful to the Russians. I'm especially grateful to Victor, our pilot, for getting us out. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here talking to you. I'd still be down there 2.5 miles under the water. This ship that's missing was built for tourism. And I know NASA was involved in its design, but NASA has issued a press release to make it very clear they were not involved in any testing. So what we don't know is how time tested was this Titan. And I'm concerned that this company, OceanGate, and I'm not making any accusations in any way, this is not the time and the place to do it. We need to concentrate on these 5 souls on board. But since you asked the question, there was nothing wrong with our ship. We were just fortunate, Heather. I was just fortunate. I could just as easily have lost my life down there. So that's why I'm hoping for a miracle. But their situation is different. They've lost communications. Apart from these noises, and we don't even know if these noises are being generated by living occupants or whether it's a transponder that's simply pinging, or whether it's just something, a piece of loose metal or something down there that's clapping. We don't know. But even if we locate it, I mean, how do you get it up there? The French are sending in one of their deep submersibles. That's great news. But even if they can locate it, grab a hold of it, and in case this French vehicle is able to grab a hold of such a relatively large submersible, larger than the one I was in, and then bring it to the surface, and then have to unbolt them in time. I mean, we're running out of time. The guess is at a maximum, they may have already lost all their oxygen. These people are hyperventilating, and no doubt they're breathing hard, they're under stress, they're metabolizing the oxygen at a much faster rate than normal. But at the most, it's tomorrow morning. And how do you do that? How do you triangulate the noises, locate it, bring in the French sub, takes 2.5 hours to go down, grab a hold of it. In the best case scenario, bring it right back up. It's another 2.5 hours, unbolt them. I don't know. I'm an optimist by nature, so I'm not giving up hope. And I'm still visualizing these people being brought out, and hooray, hurrah, and we can all celebrate the miraculous rescue. That can happen. But right now, I'm just being honest, it's just not looking good.
Michael, this has obviously been incredibly hard for you to watch this news and to share your own story. So why do you continue and choose to share your story and keep watching?
Halfway through this book, because all day yesterday I was talking to media from all over the world who wanted to understand my experience and how it might relate to the current situation. And obviously it relates directly to it. I can give some people at least an idea of the dangers and hazards involved, and that's why I do it. I have to say that halfway through this morning, I was telling my wife, I don't know if I can keep going. It's exhausting me physically and emotionally, but I feel an obligation for those 5 souls not to stop talking, to let people know there is still hope. There is still hope. Until we know for sure that they have run out of oxygen, there is hope. And I want to be the messenger of hope. But I also want to be that realistic voice that says, I've been through that. I know what they're experiencing. Mm-hmm. And anyone who's contemplating going down to the Titanic, please don't think of it as some recreational destination. This is not a Disneyland ride. Have respect for Mother Nature. Have respect for the ocean. It is merciless. It's unforgiving. And second of all, treat this site as it should be. It's sacred ground. It's a cemetery where people lost their lives. This is not a joyride. That's my central message, and that's what keeps me going.
Michael, thank you so much for taking the time to share this message with us and our viewers and share your story. Dr. Michael Guillen, thank you again for your time. Pleasure talking to you.